So what we're looking at now is the bookcase that encases two separate booklets, two signatures of booklets. The bookcase is handmade, and it actually resembles the scoliotic brace that a lot of people with scoliosis are often prescribed uh, with. And here we are looking at the first booklet, where you'll see a lot of original photographs taken by myself in color versus black and white archival images taken from medical books about scoliosis. So this first booklet is really a juxtaposition between images about scoliosis that are made in the contemporary world now, and particularly in the Asian context in Singapore. And that kind of relationship with the images that were made in by the medical field, maybe sometime in the 1950s, 60s, 70s. Some even date back all the way to the early 18th or 19th century. So the project started, I guess, when I first encountered a bunch of medical books about scoliosis on a visit to the Wellcome Collection in London. And that's when I encountered that beautiful space. It's a space where art, science, and medicine come together, and they have a beautiful library where anyone is open to visit. So when I first went to that library, I didn't really know what to look at. There were just so many books. So I picked a topic that was closest to my heart, because I myself grew up with scoliosis, and I went through a surgery for it when I was 13. So scoliosis was that word that came up for me, and I started to find a few books about scoliosis. And what struck me the most was a diagram of a tree being tied, um, and that was on a cover page of one of the medical books. And that particular imagery spoke a lot to me, because a couple of years back in 2015, 2016, I actually made a series of photographs called Ways to Tie Trees. And in that series, I took portraits of trees that were being staked and tied in Singapore. And when I was making that work, my concern was really about the human entanglements with our urban environment, how we manipulate nature to beautify, and in some way conform to our urban environment. And in no way was I thinking about my own condition of scoliosis. So, fast forward a few years later, when I encountered that imagery in a book about scoliosis, it was very serendipitous. It almost makes me think about the times when I was photographing Ways to Tie Trees as a way of gazing back at my own body as well. And I think it made a lot of sense in a way where that act of working with those trees that were being tied up it's a very instinctive kind of process. So from there, I took back a lot of these images as references, and I think I kept them around for about 2 years until I had an opportunity to really expand the project to its fuller potential with the Objective Documentary Award. So the award was given to me, I think, in 2019. And I had a year to develop this project under the mentorship of Hannah. And together with Objectives and Hannah, we published, or rather we worked on it into an exhibition format. And at the same time, there was this other opportunity to publish the book with the book show. So that's how the whole project really came together eventually earlier this year in May. Yeah. So I think what we're looking at in the past couple of pages, these are pictures of individuals with scoliosis that I worked with in Singapore. So a lot of them I actually got to know them through a Facebook group called Scoliosis Support Singapore. And it's a group where individuals with scoliosis, parents with children who have scoliosis will join. And it's a private group that offers some kind of community support. So, you know, a lot of them would ask questions and recommendations within the Facebook group. So I got a permission of the admin to put up an open call and look for people who might be willing to work with me to create a series of images for this project. And in working with each individual, I would ask if I could take the photographs in their bedroom. So it's actually a very vulnerable moment because I'm meeting them for the first time. And in that first meeting, we are in their personal space, in their bedroom. And, you know, that whole process also involves them taking off some of their clothes and baring their bodies to a stranger, which is me. So I think that process of working with each individual really came out to be quite an intimate one, and hence I think in the photos that there's a bit of that um, gaze that is quite different from what you see in the medical photographs. And apart from taking a photograph of their back with or without scars, I also asked if I could take a video of their backs in movement because I realized that there was a limitation in photography to portray how scoliosis has limited or affected our torso movements. And then the third thing that I asked for was also to have a recorded conversation. And a lot of the recorded conversations were turned into a transcript, which you can find in this second booklet that we just saw.